Support for that 90s Wrestling podcast has been brought to you by Manscaped, who is the best in men's below-the-waist grooming. Manscaped offers precision engineering tools for your family jewels. Manscaped is trusted by over 2 million men worldwide. Join the movement for all your below-the-waist grooming needs and get 20% off plus free delivery. And all you have to do is use my code 90s, that's 90s, 90s. Use that at manscaped.com, and like I said before, you get 20% off and also you get free shipping to anywhere around the world. So, thanks for that, and please enjoy the show. Hello and welcome to that 90s Wrestling podcast. I'm your host, James Sunstone, and today, special guest from Ring of Honor. She is part of the Righteous, the one and only Vita VonStarr. How you doing, Vita?
Hi, everyone.
How's things going over your end?
Things are good. Yeah, just got done with a busy weekend of shows, a lot of training. I'm a little beat up today, but today's a rest day, so I'll hit it again hard tomorrow. So a little bit of recovery.
I saw the show you was on I saw you posted the show you was on at the weekend. So how did that go? Did it go all good?
The one with Casey
Yeah.
Cattell. Yeah. It was a blast. It was actually the first show with fans that I've done since October. So that was exciting. Real human interaction is cool. We had a really nice day. It wasn't too hot, not too cold. And we had a good turnout, and we had a great match. I had a great time. No complaints whatsoever.
Awesome. Good. So I suppose we'll get to the beginning. I suppose your childhood. So was you a fan of wrestling from a young age, or was it something you discovered a little bit later on?
I definitely discovered wrestling later on. I grew up with skateboard and snowboard culture, so that's what I was around mostly. So, I mean, I was used to throwing my body around already prior to going into pro wrestling, but I really wasn't a fan till just shortly before I started training, actually. And of course, now I'm a huge fan. I watch it all the time. But yeah, I didn't know anything really going in when I started training. I just knew that it was a hard athletic discipline, and I knew it was a form of entertainment, and I was really into those aspects of it, and I just fell in love with it. And soon as my first class, just fell in love with it.
Awesome. And I think I've got this right. Did you was you part of the circus growing up? Like later on?
Yes, actually, that was pretty much my shoot job for a while prior to pandemic. Now there's not a whole lot going on with it right now, so that's unfortunate. But yeah, I'm a coach as well, so I work at a circus school and I run my own private studio. So I teach people how to do circus. There's a lot of jobs in the circus, so what I do is I'm an aerialist. I hang from the ceiling and I flip around. So yeah, that was my pretty much how I made a living for a while before COVID. And it's still, I mean, I still train it all the time. I still have my own studio, and I still have a few students that I work with on a regular basis. And it's tons of core and upper body. So that's my workout. I mean, of course I do like tons of squats and, cardio when I'm in wrestling classes and stuff like that. But that's my gym. I just I climb things and I flip around.
Cool. What's the funniest story like being part of the circus? I would imagine you've had a hell of a lot of stories.
Yes, I am very blessed. So I've never wanted to have a real job. So I've worked really hard never to have a real job. So every show is different. I've done so much cool stuff. One of the shows that I really enjoyed looking back on was we were hanging from a bridge actually in Philadelphia. Right. So we were about 65 feet high over a river, and people in the audience could go out on the river and watch the show from a boat. And it was just very surreal, being that high and the sun setting. It was like a movie. So I've had tons of experiences like that. I get asked to do a lot of weird stuff, but it's always interesting. So I'm grateful to be able to go to my offices, hanging off a bridge one day, or doing
Yeah,
all kinds of random stuff.
yeah, I haven't. It's been a while since last time I went to circus. I actually, I was going to take my kids last year because when COVID stopped for a few months over here in the UK, I was going to take my kids, but I think I scared my kids with it the clown Pennywise, and they're like, "Yeah, we're not going around any clowns." I'm like, "Okay, that's my bad."
Fair.
So
Clowns are
yeah,
creepy, but
yeah, it's weird because growing up, I love clowns and that, but now I'm like scared to death of them. So I remember
uh,
one time. I remember one time, so we've got like theme parks over here, and there's one theme park in particular called Owen Towers. So on Halloween every year they'll do a thing called Fright Night, and they'll build these special attractions. So the one's the clown house, and it was just a living hall of mirrors, but with just like a variety of clowns in
yeah.
it. So one would be like Pennywise, one would be like Beetlejuice, for example, and be all these different ones. And I must have been like 18-year-old, but honestly, God, it put it put the fear of God into me when I was going through it.
I love it. I love Halloween. It's my happy time of year. So.
Oh, my kids love it every year, and we go all out for it. They absolutely love it now. So I say to them, "You love Halloween more, or Christmas?" They went, "Well, Christmas you get presents, but we love dressing up." So yeah, love
Yeah,
Halloween.
it's the best.
Good. So you made your way into wrestling, so you're training, and you train under Cheeseburger, was that right?
Yes, I've been training with Cheeseburger for the last 2.5 years or so. I started at Chikara. I was there for 3 years, so that was cool. I got to do some training with Drew Gulak and Ophidian Cobra, so I learned a lot of lucha, really every style. It was cool to just the variety of classes they had, and it's hard to find places that teach lucha. So I love that stuff. I don't get to do it a lot in my matches, but I love training it, especially when it's you have to be doing it with people who like kind of know what they're doing. Otherwise, it's just a disaster. But yeah, so it was cool that I got to have that first experience training. And then I moved over to Cheeseburger School, so I train with him and Sumi Sakai regularly. And Delirious pops in every now and then to run some classes with us, and it's super great vibe. I love everyone there. All the students there. It's just always such a positive environment. Everyone really supports each other and works really well together. There's never any gossip or like backbiting or anything like that. So I'm just grateful. I mean, I'm just so lucky to like have a lot of positive experiences in wrestling, and it's
Yeah.
not always the case. You don't always have that. But I'm lucky that I do most of the time.
Yeah, I was actually chatting to one of your colleagues the other week, Eli Isom,
I love
and
Eli.
yeah, a great guy, and he trained under Cheeseburger also, and he's same as what you said. Like he said, loves to train underneath him, and he said the school, and he said it was just such a feel good attitude. He said compared to other schools, what you hear like horror stories. He said he's so grateful to be trained under Cheeseburger. So I'm gonna have to get Cheeseburger on one day. Sounds hell of a guy.
He is. I love Cheeseburger to death. He's the best. I never hear anyone say anything bad about him. He's just like one of those guys that if you can't get along with Cheeseburger, that's a you problem. Because
Yeah.
he's just like the easiest person to get along with.
Cool. And it didn't take you long before you won your first title. So you defeated Tara Calloway to become the Star Pro Wrestling Women's Champion. So what was it like facing there? Because she's quite a talent as well, but also winning your first title.
Um, it surprised me, to be honest with you. I wasn't expecting it. Um, she is clearly a lot bigger than me. I feel like I've always had a little trouble with opponents who are a lot bigger than me, and I did definitely have to re-strategize a little bit while the match was going on, because some of my offense doesn't always work in those situations.
Yeah.
But I might have used slightly underhanded methods, but I still won the title. So there you go.
Awesome. Cool. And you made your way towards Ring of Honor, and I think I messaged you quite a while ago, and I said how much I love this group, the Righteous. So, how did that come about? You joined the Righteous, and Vincent taking you under his wing.
Yeah, that was also a surprise to me. So this is December before the pandemic. So we only were together a few months really before everything happened. But I was just told to show up to the show. Didn't know what was going on, if I was getting dark match or something like that. And then Vinny approached me backstage and was like, "Hey, we're doing this Devil's Rejects kind of thing. I need someone who's a psychopath. Is this something you're into?" And I was like, "Cool, yes. I love Rob Zombie. I love Devil's Rejects. We're totally on the same page with aesthetic and everything like that." Delirious made that connection for us because we had like talked here and there, just like, I was running crew or whatever. But Delirious had like trained with me a bunch of times prior to that, so he knew what I could do in the ring and stuff like that. So he told Vinny about me and made that connection, and here we are today, and I love it. I'm so grateful. Vinny is so great and easy to work with. Bateman is really cool. Now we have Dutch with us. He just debuted.
Yeah.
So I just absolutely love those guys, and like I love everything that we're doing, and I'm so grateful to be a part of it.
Yeah. Safe to say you're the baby of the group then.
Yeah. I'm a big fan of Baby.
It's a great movie, and the groups go so well. And I love the vignettes Vincent's been putting out as well. It's just something so different. Like you said, it's been influenced by Devil's Rejects, which is an awesome movie, but it's just so different, especially for Ring of Honor, where the majority of Ring of Honor is purely like in-ring skill, and it's always great to have these characters what stands out, and that's what stood out to me, and I just absolutely love every aspect of it. So it was he was on a good run, and I think I forgot this right. Vincent and Bateman defeated Joe Hendry and Dalton Castle before the COVID hit. What's Joe Hendry like? I had the pleasure of chatting to him a few months ago, and great guy, but apparently he's a bit of a personality behind the scenes.
I didn't have a whole lot of interaction with him because, again, COVID and everything. So sadly, we haven't really seen any of the people from the UK. We have had a lot of talent from the UK. But he seemed cool. I've had nothing but positive experiences with the entire locker room since I've been there. So I try to like put out good energy all the time and have energy, good energy come back. So yeah, I really can't say anything bad about anybody there.
Cool. And speaking of good energy, so you've been in there for a few months before the pandemic hit, but I would imagine you've got one or two fun road stories.
Yeah, there's always road stories. Yeah, a lot of sleepless nights. It's a little bit rough sometimes. I'm a sleeper. I really appreciate getting a full night's sleep, but that's not always the case. But again, it's worth it. You're always gonna have that. But yeah, just a lot of sleepless nights in between
I
stuff.
can imagine.
Just like I get so delirious sometimes. Honestly, I'm just like barely functioning. I'm like, geez, it's like, our call time's like real early, and then it's still like 8 hours before the show starts, and I'm, like 3 energy drinks in already, and you get that like jittery, like horrible feeling where you're like running on empty except for those energy drinks, and it's rough.
Cool.
But I wouldn't trade it for anything. So
Awesome. And like I said, you was on a good run, and then unfortunately COVID hit. And I've spoken to a few of your colleagues, like their experiences when they heard the news. Like some of them was on just about to board the planes to make their way towards recording. So, what was that experience for you the day when you heard about COVID and like ROH basically phoning you up and saying, right, all shows is cancelled? What was your experience like?
I was so bummed out. That was a really weird time because no one, it was kind of like no one was really sure what was happening, and there's all these rumors about like flights being canceled and borders closing and stuff like that. ROH definitely took it really seriously, and I think they canceled like at least 2 months of shows like pretty early on. And again, that was before we really we thought it would only last a few weeks, right?
Yeah, same here.
I was like, oh my god, 2 months of shows! I was devastated. I was, like we were just starting to get some momentum with the Righteous, and I was feeling really good about 2020. 2020 started out really good, and I was like, this is the year, So it sucked really bad, and then still like months later, we're just like trying to figure stuff out still, and then like some other companies are starting to run a little bit, and we're like, what's going on? So then we started the tapings up, and so that's been going good, and I'm happy to have a job still, and the tapings are always a fun experience. Just getting together with everybody and seeing everybody wrestle, and working on the angles and stuff like that. So glad that we have that. So that's a big relief, and hopefully we'll have some live shows in the not too distant future. It's still all like up in the air, and then things change so quickly now. It's hard to plan anything, but I love the tapings. The studio format is cool. I definitely enjoy it. Kind of like take some of the pressure off a little bit in a way, just being able to kind of like focus on the shots and not worry about the fans. But that's like such a huge part of wrestling too, is the fans and the energy that you get from that. And definitely miss live shows a lot.
I can imagine. How's the infamous ROH bubble treating you?
It was weird at first. Like everyone has their own hotel room, which is great. I'm happy about that part. But we're not really supposed to like see each other or talk to each other, because we get there like a couple days ahead of time, and then we quarantine while the test results are coming back and stuff like that. So it's weird. I definitely get antsy like being cooped up in a room. I pretty much just like work out the whole time before we start shooting, like while we're supposed to be in quarantine. So it's definitely weird, but still then, when everybody starts working and shooting starts, and it's cool and it feels like, kind of normal, besides all like the protocols and stuff that we have to follow. So it's weird, but we're functioning, and we're making shows. So I'm happy about that.
Awesome. And speaking of shows, so not long ago they had the ROH 19th anniversary show, which was a smashing success, and the main match, and I think I said this to you, what I was looking forward to was Vincent v. Taven, and you mentioned Dutch. He made his appearance at the end of the match. So how did you feel that match went on? In my opinion, it was a great brawl, basically.
Yeah, I loved it personally. I thought it was a great way to tie everything together. I love cinematic matches. I know like people are like, some people are weird about that kind of stuff, but I'm an artist. I like artsy stuff. I like when things are, it's different. You don't, we always see like a match inside of a ring or whatever. So I loved it. They got so many great shots, and there were so many great moments. And I thought like Vincent looked so insane when he was dancing with the dummy and singing, it's like classic Vincent, So I personally loved it. I mean, of course I'm biased, but I thought it was beautifully done.
Yeah, awesome. And something I would imagine you're looking forward to. Looks like the women's division starting to pick up again. So I would imagine that's something you want to get, and I would imagine you can't wait to square off against the likes of Angelina Love, Mandy Leon, and I suppose Maria as well. Seeing that she's part of the Kingdom. So yeah, are you looking forward to these matches?
Yes, I would love to get my hands on Maria. She's saying that
Yeah.
she doesn't want to wrestle, but we'll see. That would be great. I would love that. We'll see if it happens or not. But I am so excited about the women's division starting up again. Oh my gosh. It's been a long time coming, and we want to make sure that we do it right, because there were some mistakes in the past and whatnot. But, this is now going into the future. There's so much great women's talent out there now, and it's everywhere, like there's so many great female wrestlers now, and there's no reason why we can't have an incredible women's division. So it's getting there. There's a lot of stuff to do still, but now that I know that it really is a thing, like I'm just so happy about it. I'm just so excited to see where everything's gonna go.
Oh yeah, we can't wait. So we are looking forward to it. And one of the questions I always get asked of the fans for this show, they always seem to enjoy rib stories. So have you ever been involved in a infamous rib backstage, or you've seen a rib?
I'm sure that I can't really. I can't think of one where like I personally was, but like I mean, yeah, it happens all the time.
Yeah.
Stuff that I can say out loud, I don't know.
Oh, we're not PG. You can say whatever you want.
um,
I can
Nothing is
imagine
coming to mind.
Vincent's got a personality behind the scenes.
Um, well, yeah, Vinny and Taven, yeah, they have legitimately known each other for a long time, so they fight like brothers sometimes, and it's funny to me. But yeah, like everyone gives each other a hard time, and yeah, I don't have anything like real good off the top of my head, but
Yeah.
stuff that people don't want me to repeat or whatever.
Fair enough. Cool. So we mentioned you love the Devil's Rejects, and safe to say you're a big horror movie fan in general, I suppose.
Yeah, I have always been into horror. I've always been into the dark arts, anything that's like kind of creepy and scary. We were talking about Halloween before. I've done like tons of Halloween shows. I've been in a couple horror movies, a couple B horror movies. You can check out The Dark Military, because I know my director would want me to pump that one out. Yeah, I was a psychopathic killer in that movie. It's just like natural for me. I don't know. I think I'm getting typecast, but these are the roles that I get asked to do regularly. But yeah, I love it. I love blood and gore. I love death metal, and yeah, I love all that stuff.
Awesome. Well, I suppose that's a good segue because I'm going to ask you some horror-based questions. What your favorites are? So I suppose we'll start with the first one. Your favorite horror kill?
I like the massacres, like the zombie massacres. So one of my favorite movies of all time is Dead Alive. It's directed by Peter Jackson, pre Lord of the Rings.
All right.
And it's very campy but extremely gory. I know at the time, I'm like statistically with like the amount of blood they used, it was like definitely one of the goriest films of all time. Probably still is. So there's a really great scene where he just like slaughters all these zombies with a lawnmower, and it's more than one kill. It's
Yeah.
lots and lots of kills. So I like that. That's always a classic for and it's an older movie, but still one of my favorites to this day.
Awesome. I'll have to check it out. And who's your favorite horror movie villain / monster?
Well, he's not so much the villain. I would have to go with Bruce Campbell, Army of
Yeah.
Darkness. He's really the baby face, but I just love his delivery. I mean, not even just like Army of Darkness trilogy. Like all of his movies are solid gold. Yeah, I would have to say Bruce Campbell because I'm just a huge fan of him.
Cool. And a couple left. Your favorite final girl?
My favorite what?
Final girl.
Final girl.
Yeah.
What, in a horror movie?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I would have to defer back to Devil's Rejects, the one where she almost makes it out alive and then gets hit by the truck.
Oh, she got the mask on her face. Is that the same one?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah.
That's a great scene.
Oh yeah, I mean the scene at the end in particular as well, when when they're just riding off to Freebird as well, and all of a sudden like the law is just waiting for him, and just guns him out. So that's
I
great.
mean, everything preceding that is just so brutal. So yeah,
So,
there's like a glimmer of hope, but no.
Yeah, I suppose that's just spoil it then. So I would imagine that's your favorite horror movie of all time, or is there another one?
That's definitely up there for sure.
Mm.
Yeah, and again, I'm like a huge Rob Zombie fan, but just that trilogy is just so good and so classic for me. And yeah, it's just had such a big influence on so much stuff that I've done. So yeah, I would definitely say that.
Awesome. Cool. Myself personally, always been more of a Nightmare on Elm Street fan. I think I mentioned off camera about nightmares from being 6-year-old, but yeah, I love every one of them, except Freddy's Dead and except the remake. Okay, I don't want to acknowledge them. So apparently they're on about doing like an animated sequel because the actor can't keep up with the physicality anymore. So they're on about doing like a animated sequel. So I'm like, I got no idea how that'll work, but you never know.
I'd be into that though. Yeah, I am a fan of animation. I think in a horror setting, it's cool. So yeah, I'd be into that.
Yeah, cool. Awesome. So thanks for coming on, Vita. But before we do, tell everyone where they can find you on their social media.
Absolutely. You can find me on Twitter, VonStarr, and I'm also on Instagram, Vita VonStarr, and that's VITAVONSTARR. Feel free to follow me, drop in, say hi. I'm always happy to talk to fans and interact. And yeah, hit me up. I would love to see you on Twitter or the gram.
Awesome. And your final prediction for 2021, what can we expect from the Righteous?
A lot of violence and mayhem. Yeah, we have some things in store, but it'll be violent. I can promise that.
Awesome. And for people who's not watching Ring of Honor, I don't know why, but if you just want to know where it is, you can watch it on the Fight app every week. So make sure you're tuned in. It's great stuff, not just the great characters, the Righteous, but also the ring work of everyone else. So pretty damn good. Cool. So thanks again, Vita. Great speaking to you. And yeah, hopefully, I'll get the whole group of you on next time, the Righteous. And yeah, we can do this again one day.
Absolutely. I'd love to.
Awesome. Right. Hey everyone, thanks for checking out this interview. Hope you enjoyed it. And as for announcement for next week's guest, it's gonna be, I'm not gonna tell you right now because I'm leaving it as a surprise, because next week is the start of a new season for the show. So we'll be having new intros, new theme songs, new videos, and also new guests. I will give you a clue though, this guy is big. So that's the clue I'm going to give you. So it's an interview I've been really looking forward to doing. And yeah, thanks for everyone who's checked out this interview. And yeah, if you've enjoyed everything you've listened to, please give us a 5-star rating on whichever podcasting platform you're listening on. Give us a big old subscribe. And if you watch this on YouTube, if you could smash that subscribe button, leave a comment, and yeah, it really, really does help the channel out. And if you want to follow me on social media, you can do on Twitter at 90s Wrestling Pod, and you can also follow me on Instagram, that 90s Wrestling Podcast. And if you want to head over to Manscaped and look after yourself, use my code 90s, that's 90s. If you watch us on YouTube, you can click on the link in the description, or you can just head over to manscaped.com, and like I said, use that code 90s. Not only do you get 20% off your purchase, but you also get free shipping. So everyone, thanks to everyone who's kept with this channel for the past year. I am looking forward to what Season 2 will hold in store for us all. So, until then, see you next time. Bye!